And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mafia number 5. Mafia number 5, and I'm actually not sure why it's called Mafia number 5. It happens sometime in the future, and you're trying to have an army that takes over Earth. This is a game in which you are trying to score the most points by playing cards in the middle of the table that affect everyone else's points. This is very similar to a game that's been out for a long time that has had many names. Probably the most famous name of it would be Loco. But this is a little bit different. Let's take a look. The game is going to take place over 5 rounds. You keep track of it with this card here. Round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Players are going to start with a handful of 7 cards. There are different cards of various colors. In each color, there are 3 kinds of cards. There is a soldier who's worth 1. There is a pro who's worth 2, and you can see that based on the number here, the number of the icons. And then there's the fool, who apparently is blowing himself up in this particular picture. So each round, it will tell you how many cards you're going to add to the market and how many cards you're going to add to your office. The office are the cards in front of you. So players are going to pick, they're going to pick maybe, I'll pick those 2 cards in the market and 1 card in front of me, and everyone does that. Now, when you add cards to the market, if you add a card to the market that is a fool, it will get rid of a soldier that's there. They cancel each other out, if there is any. If there's no soldiers, it gets rid of a pro. If there's no pros, then nothing happens. It's just gone either way. Other cards are put here. If the value of a color goes over 6, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, but if it goes over 6, then they're also all discarded, and anyone who has any of those cards in their office will discard them also. Cards in your office count as 1. It doesn't matter if they're a fool or not. So if you have a fool and you don't want to put it in the middle, you can always put it in front of you. Players will then score points. In this case, for example, let's say this is the market. Let's say maybe a few other cards got played by other players. I have 1 card here. 1 times 3 is 3 points, and I would take 3 points from the pile of points here. Whoever has the fewest cards in their office will get this underdog token, and they'll be able to play it in the future to put more cards in their office. And you're going to put out more and more cards as time goes by, but you may lose some cards if something busts. That's it. All the cards that are put out are going to stay out unless something's busted or whatever. You will refill everyone's hand, and then you'll go to the next round. At the end of the game, whoever has the most points is the winner. Obviously, you're going to have to like this Madman style artwork, which is kind of gross as you look at these cards here. But, you know, it has a certain group of people who are going to really like it. And I guess they'll like the fools as they poison and kill themselves to death. Unfortunately, the artwork takes up the majority of the card. This number here, I think, is the number of those cards in the deck. And the symbology on here is okay. It's not super great. I wish there was a better way to differentiate between the pros and the regular soldiers. Yes, it shows 2 icons, but it's really easy to miss those in your hand. The artwork for the fool is different, like it shows them killing themselves, but you know, like the artwork between this and this is pretty easy to tell apart. But when I'm looking for the pro who has 2 of those, it's the exact same thing. Like this and this. The tokens themselves are fine. They're just little tokens, and the rules are fine too. I don't know. Maybe this sort of artwork appeals to me sometimes. In this case, I find it okay. Now, besides the whatever weird theme, the game itself, you know, it's weird. Sorry, Kool-Aid Man. You know, it's weird when a game has too many rules for how small it is. The game doesn't have that many rules, but it has this thing like if there's more than 6 in the middle, a player can only have 3 different colors in their office. You can't have more than that. And the person who's behind gets a token to put out. I know this sounds weird, but there's too many rules for what should be just a very simplistic thing. So I already mentioned there's a game called Loco, or it was called Quandary, or Safari. There's different names for it, where you played cards in the middle, and then you played cards in front of yourselves, and that's how many points you score. So solid little game. This is trying to do the same thing. Cards times the stuff in the middle. The problem is super chaotic. there's almost no control over it. And you literally look at the cards in your hand and go, well, I'd like to play blue cards because there's a lot of blue cards in the middle, but there's nothing I can do about it. I can't even hurt the people who do draw blue cards. If there's a blue is worth value 4 in the middle and 3 people draw a blue card, none of them are probably going to say, you know what, I'm going to hurt the blue so no one else gets it. They're going to put the blue card in their office to score those points. Now, there's some exceptions. If someone already has 3 blue cards in their office, we might say, let's blow it up so they don't get it anymore. But you have the choice of the cards in your hand. And you're kind of dictated by that. And then everyone else is playing cards and busting stuff and all kinds of, there's so much chaos in it. And it's only 5 rounds. By the time you get to round 5, you're like, wait, the game's almost over? Who won? Why did you win? I don't know. That's how the game feels to me. I'm not a fan of this one. I don't mind the concept, the idea of playing cards into the middle and playing cards in front of yourself to score points is a good one. And it's been done in several games. This one, though, is trying to be cutesy with the theme and cutesy with some weird rules. And I think at the end of the day, I don't mind a little light game like this, but this is just so all over the place, mixed with the weird theme. I just don't see there being a big audience for this one. Mafia number 5. I do like the name, but that's about it. Dice Tower Judgment? Meh.